Inspiring Gateway. I'm Asia, and this video is going to be on the feminine. We're going to be talking about feminine energies. This is about bringing awareness to feminine energies and feminine principles, okay? Because we have to first have a grounding understanding that masculine and feminine runs through all things, everything. See what I'm talking about? I got my son in here, so he's being extra distracting. So feminine and masculine runs through everything, okay? So when we break it down to duality, okay, duality, we know that that means two, do, deuce, okay? There's many examples we can give to show that duality is about two. So that's breaking a whole, okay, a complete into two. Dividing it by two is a half. If you want to do it by calculation and measurement of a still, but we know that life is in motion. So this is how we're able to use stills in order to gain measurement. And this is a great example of a still. Okay, this will be a still version of what the universe looks like in its spiritual essence. Okay, not in its physicality. I'm not talking about the actual placements of these things. I'm talking about how they exist in spirit and how we are able to capture an image in order to know these different areas of spirit, these different separations, just because you just so disrespectful. I can't stand you. Remove your buns. Dang, now you have buns. Now you better remove it before I really start calling you out. Now, um, see, now you looked at me. Anyways, let's see. Let me just try to stay on task, okay? So, a still will be in an image, and we're talking about an image in spirit. We don't, most things of spirit we're not really able to picture, right? Because we're not able to see with these two eyes. So there's a lot of information that we don't have access to, right? Just if we were to take this perspective of sight and physicality, okay? So we know that there's a lot of things that we don't see, right? Especially if we were to take this perspective of me being in this room and then the whole world going on outside of me, and I only have this limited perspective of vision that's right in front of me in my current environment. So we know that a lot of things happen in the dark. That is a great way of also defining or identifying spirit, is things of the dark, things that are not in your immediate vision, your sight, unless you have a awareness, okay, or um, you have an awareness, or you are in tune to things of the spirit. You have internal sight. Internal sight is things of the spirit. Spirit recognizes spirit. Give and receive. So this is things. This is going to be about the feminine and about bringing into balance. Okay, balance will be considered a still. It'll be a fixed position. Okay, but we know that life is not. That's not a reality of things being actually balanced out. But it's about us being able to use these tools of building. Okay, because that's what this is about. But that we have to know what we're building towards, and that's been the main problem, has been the lack of the knowledge of the feminine. The feminine has to deal with the spirit, this knowledge of spirit, the connection to spirit, the identification of spirit. um, this is not I don't know how to say it. This is not a religious perspective of way of looking at this. This is about changing the way that we see things, okay? Because science is the same thing as science of the spirit. They just have people on a masculine perspective of only looking at things, only paying attention to things that are in the physical. That's what this life is geared to right now, is masculine principles, masculine energies, dealing with things in the light, things that are seen, physicality, actions, what else? Why can I even think? Images, thank you. Images, appearances. Okay, because we know that this world is a whole bunch of appearances. Whenever you show up somewhere, you are appearing. Okay, um, actions. Everybody takes actions on certain things, whatever they're trying to achieve in their life. You have to take action for it. That also deals with the fire. Fire is a source of light, sight. Okay, passion. Okay, outlook. These are masculine principles. Okay, these are the things of the light. Now, when it deals with the feminine, these are the things that are internal. Um, in the dark, right? Because you can't see your organs. They're in the dark. You don't have sight of what's going on unless you have had some type of map, okay? And that's what these images that are were given to us is like somebody else's map of what's going on in the things that we aren't able to see. So, but once you have the right platform, then you have a much better sight. You have clarity when you're able to use your senses, your spiritual senses, along with what you see in physicality. This is about merging masculine and feminine principles together in order to create a more harmonious atmosphere. This is about solutions and us being able to actually recognize the problem, but we've been on the wrong foundation of what the problem even is, what the problems are and what they is. Okay, because you, just like that saying, when you want to know the real truth of something, you go to the source. And we haven't been taught how to go to the source of things because we're so focused on the physicality and we're not paying attention to the feminine. We're more masculinized and we're not using the principles of the feminine. And this is about learning these principles and identifying them in life so we can stop having them be about fucking belief systems and recognize that everybody has their own beliefs and should know how to use beliefs instead of thinking that they need something to believe in. That goes deep, um, because from my perspective, belief is reserved for yourself because you just don't give that shit to anybody. That's part of you manifesting for yourself what you're trying to achieve for yourself. You have to believe in yourself and know what you are putting your faith and your belief in. Um, and, you know, belief is about learning lessons also because that means you didn't have the full perspective in the first place for you to need something to believe in. You didn't know. So it's a sense of being able to comfortably move forward in whatever you're doing. But just to have a belief, hold a belief until the end of your life just to find out you was supposed to know. But anyways, this is about dealing with the feminine, okay? Feminine energies and feminine principles. I already know I'm gonna have to do a part two. I didn't want to, but I just be talking. Um, but it's deep though, because this is a representation of the inner world, okay? Inner world is just two words that we can use to describe, to identify. I rather say identify than describe. Um, uh, the inner world because it is a representation of an existence, a world, an existence that's happening internally. Okay, so if we're thinking about the physical aspect of ourselves, then we would be looking at, our organs and uh, tissues and bones and all that. That'll be our considered our inner world, right? Because it's out of our sight. Now, when we're dealing with things of spirit, okay, this will be our characteristics, our makeup, our spiritual DNA, okay? DNA is not just whatever they think they have a picture of a DNA, but it is about our spiritual makeup, um, our character, our beliefs, our values, our desires, how we communicate, our relationship, how we relate to each other, how we relate to ourselves, our judgment, how we're seen to others. These are things that are in spirit, right? Because we can't see those things in physicality unless we see them being played out. Otherwise, they are in spirit. The ethers, there's many names we can use to identify different aspects of spirit, and this has to do with science, okay? There's a whole nother terminology. There's two different terminologies. You have English, I like to say, you have English, which keeps you in a frame of thought. It's a whole different language when you're dealing with occult things. So if you're not even familiar with the language, you are already on another platform that's not um, connected. I shouldn't say it. I mean, it is connected, but it's like a mental disconnection. If you don't, how can I explain? This is like reading, okay? So you can read the words that are written down, right? You can read them, but it's the reading comprehension, which is the spirit, right? Because you've been able to utilize your mind in order to intuit what the author is trying to convey, right? Because you have to be able to interpret. That's reading between the lines, right? Because you're not only are you using your spirit, your intellect, your mind, in order to analyze and observe, in order to understand what the author is conveying. So you're reading the actual words, and then you have the comprehension, which is the spiritual essence of understanding what is being said, what these words are conveying. And so that's why words are powerful, because they're energy, and they are definitely directors. They are directors in thought and the way that you think about something. And if you don't take a time to get a full perspective of comprehension, okay, and um, being able to read between the lines, then you can be easily manipulated with the English. And that's like the English being like masculine, and the comprehension, occult language is more of the feminine essence, okay? Because it's dealing with things of spirit. Um, it's deep. So shit. Part two.